Hello friends, welcome back. In previous lecture we have discussed about why do we need Docker volumes and what are the different types of Docker volumes are available. In this lecture we are going to create each type of Docker volumes and we'll see the differences and also we'll check out which is the best or widely used Docker volume type. Let's jump into our GitHub repository to follow the procedure. This document URL I am going to give in the description of this video. Please follow along with me. As I discussed in our previous lectures, we have three Docker volume types, that is anonymous volumes, named volumes, and host volumes or bind volumes. First, let's start with the anonymous volumes. To create anonymous volumes, we are using a command called docker run -it. IT stands for interactive terminal, minus name and name of the container. I am giving container name as a Veloxy Technologies Web UAT01 followed by -v, nothing but volume, and here we are giving only /data01, nothing but this is the container directory name. So on container, it creates a directory called /data01, then nginx, this is the image name, and I'm logging into my Docker container by using bash shell while creating itself. So it is going to create a container with an anonymous volume which is mounted as a /data01 on the container. In this case, we mention container directory name, nothing but this is container directory name. On host system, it maps to a random hash directory under varlib docker directory. Now let's go and create this one. This is my Docker server. You can check out docker -v. It gives the version and also service docker status. Okay, my Docker services are up and running. Let's clear the screen. Docker ps-a to list out any containers are there. There is no containers. Docker volume ls. It lists out the volumes which are available in your Docker host. So far we don't have any volumes and any containers. First we'll create a Docker container without -v flag. So docker run -it, nothing but interactive terminal, --name, Veloxy Technologies Web int 01, so web integration 01 server followed by nginx/bin bash. So we are creating a nginx container, and while creating my container I would like to go inside to a container. So let's execute. Now I have jumped into my Docker container from my Docker host because I have used interactive terminal. And if I do df-h, you can see there are few file systems in my container. Let me open the new tab for the same. And become a root user and clear the screen. And if you see docker volume ls, you can still see there is no volumes. Why? Because we haven't used -v flag while creating our container. So by default it used the root directory of your host system. Now to experiment this one, we are going to create few files and we'll see where exactly those files are stored in our Docker host. So touch file1, file2. I'm creating two files. Now let's go to our Docker host. So this is our Docker host, right? So find /-name file1. I'm searching for the file1 where exactly it is located. You can see here varlib docker overlay 2. So it created a directory called overlay 2. Under that, a random hash name has been created and file1. Anyway, it is comparing with the initial image with the latest image. That's okay. Nothing but it is creating under varlib docker directory. And also you can check your container by using docker ps. Okay, so it shows the running containers. Now I'm going to exit from this container and kill this container. So exit and docker ps. Now it won't show under docker ps because it shows only running containers. You can see this one under docker ps -a. So now it is exited. I'm going to delete this container. So docker rm and the container name. I have deleted my container, and if I search for my file1, now it doesn't exist. Why? Because the underlying backend directory has been deleted. That's why we should use volumes to persist our data. Now let's go back to our volumes and create each type of volumes. First, let's start with the anonymous volumes. So to create anonymous volumes, we should use this command. So let's execute this one. So here I'm going to jump into our Docker container, and from this session I'm going to execute the commands on Docker host what is creating on our Docker host level. So let's go here, clear the screen. I'm just creating a container with the volume, and this volume is mounted on container as a data01, and volume name I'm not giving, so it creates a random volume name. Let's execute. Now my container has been created, and if I give df-h, you can see a directory has been created with the data01 in our container. And at the same time, if I go to my Docker host, docker ps-a, if you check, it will show you the list of the containers. We have created one container. Container name is Velaxy Technologies Web UAT01, and it is up from 20 seconds. Now we will check docker volume ls. Okay, now you can see a Docker volume. One volume has been created, and this is a alphanumeric. It is a random name. Why? Because we haven't specified any volume name. And if I see when this volume has been created, Docker inspect followed by volume name. If I give, this has been created just now. If I see the date, it is 341 and 342, so it's created just now. And the driver type local, label null, we haven't given any label. And mount point, where exactly does it store the data? You can see the path where lib docker volumes. Under this directory it created a random name. Under that we have a underscore data directory. Okay, now what I'm going to do here, also I'm going to create few files inside my slash data01 directory, and we'll see the data gets stored over here. Okay, now I'm going to inside data01. Okay, I should create under data01. If I create it outside, it doesn't treat or store over there. Now I'm creating touch file 3 file 4, and let's go and search for, clear the screen, find slash minus name file 3. I'm just searching for file 3. You can see here var lib docker volumes, and it created underscore data. Under this the file 3 is there. This is our volume name, right? 769 docker volume ls. You can see here 769. So under this volume our data has been stored. Now what I will do, I'm going to delete this container. So exit docker ps-a. I am deleting my container docker rm, my container name, because whenever you exit it automatically gets stopped. So after stopping you don't need to use -f flag. Now it has been deleted, and if I search for my file 3, still it should exist. Why? Because we have used anonymous volumes. So even though it is anonymous volumes, it stores our data, but the volume name is random. You can see another file. I have created one more file in my Docker host some time back, so you can ignore this one. This is how anonymous volumes does work. But if you see the random name, you don't know to which container does it mapped. Assume that like this, I have 10 volumes. I don't know which volume is mapped to which container. If I do docker inspect and container, sorry, volume name, it doesn't show me where exactly does it mapped or which container does it mapped. That's the problem with the anonymous volume. To overcome this problem, we can use the named volumes. In named volumes, we can give a name to our volume. Now let's go back, and we can go and grab the named volumes. We can create named volumes by using docker run -it and name of the container. Next -v, volume name. What is the name do you need instead of the random hash, and followed by the directory name which you are mapping into your container, and the image name and bin bash. Let's copy this one and go here. I'm executing. So far, before executing, let's see the containers. I have deleted my containers. So docker ps-a, there is no containers. Now let's execute this command. So we have created a container and df-h. This time also we have created a slash data01 directory. And if I go to my Docker host, clear the screen, Docker ps-a, you can see our container is up and running. Docker volume ls, you can see one more volume has been created, but this time volume name is not a random hash. It is a name which we have given while creating our container. So now I'm going to create a few files inside to our slash data01. So before creating files, what I will do, I will search for file over here, find slash minus name file 5. Okay, there is no file 5 in our Docker host at this moment. I will create touch file 4 file 5. Okay, so two files I have created. Now if I search it again, you can see it is stored under var lib docker volumes and followed by our volume name. This time it is our volume name underscore data and file 5. Now let's delete our container. So exit. Instead of exit, you can use control PQ. Whenever you give control PQ, your container doesn't stop. Earlier, whenever we give exit, our container gets stops whenever you exit from the container. So now this time we have given control PQ, so the container is still up and running. Now I want to delete this container, so docker rm minus f, because it is running at this moment. So to stop and delete a container, we should use minus f flag. And this time I have deleted. But still, if I check for my volumes, both the volumes are available. And also if I check for my file 5, it's still there. So this is how we can use the named volumes. Next thing is we can create a named volumes with the Docker volume create as well. Nothing but first we'll create a volume, then map this volume to our directory. But even though if you execute this command directly in the backend, it is going to execute the Docker volume create command. Okay, so if you want, you can try this command as well. Next command is to create a volume with size. But if you want to create your volume specific size, then you need to create a volume first. After that, you should create a container. There is a typo, it seems. I will update this command later. Next, host volumes. In host volumes, we don't create a volume. We will just create a directory or file system in our host system. We'll map this directory or file system to the container directory. So we can execute this command to use the host volumes, but make sure that this directory have enough permissions. I think I have already created this directory, cd/opt. Okay, so I have data02 directory. So let me create a data01 directory, and we need to change the permissions because we should have enough permissions to access this directory. Otherwise, your container cannot able to use this directory. Now let's take the command, copy. So I'm going to create a new container, and directory name is /opt data01, and also in remote system create it as a data01. Okay, sorry, minus v flag, I missed it. Now you can see here you have logged into your container, and if I do df minus h, you are having /data01. Okay, I have executed over here. Anyway, here I'm on host system. If I give docker ps minus a, I have one running container, that is Veloxy Web UAT03. And if I give docker volume ls, now you can see here there is no new volume. Why? Because it doesn't create a volume. It uses the directory which is there in our Docker host. If I go to /opt and data01, now you can see here there is no files. Now from my container I'm going to create few files, data01 and touch file 6 file 7. Okay, now if I come here and if I do ls, you can see here file 6 and file 7 are there. And also if I give touch file 8, you can see this file over here. Okay, so this is how we can use a directory. So this is like a NFS, and also we can use the same directory with the another container so that we can share the data among the different containers. Now you might understand what is the difference between each volume type. Anonymous volume we rarely use because it doesn't give the proper information to identify your disk. Most of the cases we use the named volumes, but if you want to share your data among different containers, then we should go with the host volume or bind volumes. Alright, that's all for this lecture. In next lecture, we are going to see one real-time example, like we are going to create a Jenkins server and we'll store our jobs in the named volumes and we'll delete our container and we'll create a new container. Still, we can see our jobs which we created in our previous Jenkins server. How to do that one, we are going to see in our next lecture. Thanks for watching and see you there.